Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Filipinos in the Ukraine and Russia are also affected by the ongoing conflict between the two countries. To tell us more, we have with us Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Sara Lu Ariola joining us over the line. Good afternoon, Yusek Ariola. How are repatriation efforts going in the Ukraine? Is it still voluntary at this point?
Good afternoon, Sean. As of now, it's still voluntary, but there are several people who already came home. So as of yesterday, there were around 13 who came home already. And the other time, there was already 19. So continues. The repatriation is continuing because, and we have identified that there's still 209 Filipinos in Ukraine, but most of them already left Ukraine. So there's a little over 100 that is left inside. Most of them are married to Ukrainians or working as household service workers.
All right. And what about in Russia, Yusek Ariola? Are there more Filipinos still in Russia? And how are Filipinos there faring with the ongoing conflict, the economic sanctions imposed by other countries on Russia?
Actually, there are more Filipinos in Russia than in Ukraine. The Post estimates that there are around 8,000 Filipinos in Russia, with 75 to 80% of them who are undocumented. So now, of course, the ruble is suffering because of the sanctions, but that it's a worldwide thing because of the war and that's happening. Even gasoline prices are going up. So there are some difficulties in remittances, but all they have to do is really talk to their banks. And especially for those who are documented, they have some benefits that can be given by the Russian government.
All right. I was going to ask you about the remittances because last week we ran a story about some Filipinos having or encountering difficulties in changing their money into dollar, what with, like you said, the ruble now being considered as next to nothing because of this Russian incursion. So there's been no further reports of Filipinos having trouble with remitting money back here to the Philippines.
So far, I think PayPal still works. Actually, they are asked by the government by the Philippine government to get in touch with their banks because there's a customer service that's for English speakers. So they just have, because they're customers, they should be able to get the money from their bank. And the Russian central bank has given assurances that they will make the ruble available and other foreign currencies for Filipinos. But of course, there are difficulties as to the value of the money. But so far, they are relatively in a safe place, but they are advised to take the necessary precautions and avoid going to places where there are protests so that they won't get involved.
All right. What about these restrictions on social media as well as payment systems in Russia? Have you gotten reports of Filipinos, suffering because of these difficulties with social media access as well as payment system access?
Well, actually, the Visa and MasterCard in Russia are still working. That's the assurance of the Russian Central Bank. And the Philippine Embassy is available both in Telegram and on Facebook. So they can still reach each other through those apps. And I think Telegram really came from Russia. So if they couldn't access their Facebook anymore, there's Telegram for them.
All right, Telegram, of course, being a Russian application. Yusek Ariola, have we received any further requests, maybe from Ukrainian nationals wanting to seek refuge or asylum here in the Philippines? Have there been any such requests?
Well, actually, as of yesterday, there were 4 Ukrainian mothers who arrived, but because they have Filipino-Ukrainian children, so we do not have requests for asylum, but the female spouses of Filipinos are already coming in the Philippines because and this is not really asylum; they're just joining the repatriation of their Filipino spouses and children.
All right. Thank you so much for taking our call. DFA Undersecretary Sara Lu Ariola over the line. Thank you, Yusek. We're going to pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Let's check in on some of the latest developments in Philippine politics. Presidential Betis Co. Moreno's party, Aksyon Demokratiko, has written to the BIR on the matter of the unpaid 200 billion peso estate tax deficiencies of the Marcoses. Isko's party is asking whether the agency has sent a new demand letter to the family regarding their dues. Moreno has vowed to allot the amount collected from the Marcoses tax deficiencies to the social services should he win as president. The camp of Vice President Leni Robredo insists that they do not pay anyone to attend their campaign rallies. This comes after claims from Cavite Representative Boying Remulla that the participants who attended Robredo's event in Cavite were paid 500 pesos each. Remulla also claimed, without any proof, that some of the students who were present in the rally appeared to be from the left. Robredo spokesman, Attorney Barry Gutierrez, says the vice president's opponents have resorted to making false claims. And the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, or TUCP, has announced which 12 senatorial candidates they will be endorsing for the national elections. And these are re-electionist Senators Risa Ontiveros, Joel Villanueva, and Dick Gordon, as well as Representatives Loren Legarda and Alan Peter Cayetano. Also on the list are human rights lawyers Nery Colmenares and Shell Diokno, Labor leader Elmer Labog, and Public Works Secretary Mark Villar, along with Jingoy Estrada, Manny Peñol, and Gibo Teodoro. Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. Fuel prices are set to go up for the 10th straight week starting 6 a.m. tomorrow. Diesel prices will be more expensive by almost 6 pesos per liter, while a 3 peso per liter price hike is in the works for gasoline. Kerosene prices will also be climbing by 4 pesos per liter. The United States says it is coordinating with European allies on the possible ban of Russian oil imports. The U.S. House of Representatives is exploring possible legislation for this import ban. And the United Nations reports over 1.5 million people having fled the Ukraine since the start of the Russian incursion. The UN says most of the refugees are now in Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, and elsewhere in Europe. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.